Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Ashley Smith, and I'm the Academic Dean at the South African College of Applied Psychology, or SACAP as we call it. And I want to welcome you to the Online Learning Open Day. Particularly, I want to welcome to the Open Line Learning Day Gent, Kutsia, Vaughan Matthews, Sifukaze Gwani, Lara Schmidt, and Charlene Munro so far. Welcome to you all. It's a real privilege and opportunity to speak to you, share a little bit about the work of the South African College of Applied Psychology. There will be an opportunity at the end of the presentation for you to share your thoughts and to ask your questions during a live Q&A session. So, I guess the big question is, why study psychology? A number of critical aspects of why it is important to study psychology, and particularly why you might want to study psychology, is to ask yourself the following questions. Are you intrigued by people and why they do the things that they do? Do you want to understand more about human behavior, relationships? Why some people are so resilient while others seem helpless? If you're fascinated by these questions, then studying psychology at SACAP is definitely for you, because we are all about making a difference. Like the ingredients of a cake, the ingredients need to go in a certain order. First, I think it's about being, and then it's about doing. Socrates, the great Greek philosopher, once said, to find yourself, be yourself. And I thought it would be good at this orientation session just to let me explain a little bit of what I mean from my own personal journey. First of all, about being. Learning is first and foremost a deeply personal journey. You wouldn't be here today listening to me unless there was something very significant going on in your life right now. I believe it's about being. We've wrongly got the idea that learning is all about doing. I need to learn something in order to do something. Become a psychologist, become a computer program, become a doctor, become a plumber, become a social worker. And that's the only purpose of learning. Well, that's just simply not true. Because true learning is about empowering yourself. It's about knowing yourself better. It's about understanding your potential. It's also about understanding your limitations. To be honest, I wasn't a particularly strong student when I was at school. But at university, I began the journey of broadening the territory of my knowledge and understanding. Learning empowered me. Learning grew me. Learning gave me confidence that I never had. And in fact, learning brought about opportunities that ignorance would never have allowed me access to. And then there's this thing about doing. Because doing for me was that I learned over time that I could make a difference in the lives of other people. I learned over time that the study that I focused on in psychology would actually make a difference in the lives of others. Psychology excited me. In fact, psychology empowered me. It grew me in the view that I was developing and that I really could make a difference. And I guess in South Africa, and not only in just South Africa, but elsewhere as well, if you're really about wanting to make a difference in the lives of others, then definitely studying psychology is for you. Just looking back and reflecting on my own journey, I began my academic career actually in a normal classroom. Then I continued my academic career in a classroom full of adolescents with educational special needs. Then I grew my academic career into a lecture theatre full of students who wanted to understand the power of the discipline of psychology in order to bring about behavior change in the lives of others. And ultimately, I guess, more up to date, I now lead the academic development of a college full of students and full of educators who really are inspired about their subject and wanting to ultimately to make a difference. You see, it's not just about being, it's also about doing. So empowerment first of all, starts in here. It starts in you, and then it goes on through you. The very fact that you're interested today in what the South African College of Applied Psychology has to offer suggests for me four things. First of all, you want to grow. Secondly, you want to grow in order to make a difference. Thirdly, you want to get training in order to grow, in order to make a difference. And finally, you want to be in the best institution to get the training in order to grow, in order to make a difference. And that's not boasting about the institution. I'm just pleased to say that that actually is a very honest statement. We are unique on the South African landscape in terms of the programs that we offer. There are other things that I think are about uniqueness. Being in a class together is not going to happen to you, not in the way it would on in a face-to-face context. You're going to be studying on your own, but that should never rob you of your personal sense of uniqueness and difference. Because you and I might never meet doesn't mean that your studies are not important to me, and that I and us as educators and administration are not important to you. What I do see is that through your studies, you really can change and grow within yourself, ultimately, like me, to change and grow into making a significant difference. So in that sense, you are unique. So I guess in conclusion, I have to ask the question, why study at SACAP? There are a number of things that you'll see on the PowerPoint that I think are important in terms of you locating where best you should study and want to study. First of all, we are all about academic rigor, but we're also about applied skills. We want to skill you in order that you can really make a difference in the lives of others. Secondly, we do offer our accredited qualifications. All of our qualifications are accredited. And we have built, now over a number of years, a real reputation for excellence. One of our unique features is small classes. You will always be part of a small group so that we get to know you personally. But small classes does not mean small thinking, it means big thinking. We want to see you grow and almost sense and feel your growth. We provide expert training. All of our educators are experts in their own field. We have an educator practitioner model so that the people who facilitate for you really do have personal experience of the community. We're also all about hands-on experience. We want to build a relationship with you. We want to know you personally while you study. And then we want to offer flexibility. Study how you want, when you want. You work at your pace, not necessarily at our pace. And then we're all about developing your potential. Ultimately, as I've said now a number of times, to really make a difference. So I'm now, first of all, just to say goodbye from me. And as you continue to explore whether you should study at SACAP, I'm going to hand you over to Karina Kutsia, our online coordinator, who will be speaking to you about our online offering. Goodbye, and thanks so much for listening.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Karina Kutsia, and I'm the online coordinator. I'll be taking you through a little bit today about why study it online at SACAP, as well as going a little bit into what online learning looks like. So SACAP's delivery of online learning is dynamic and highly engaging. It's full of activities that demand interaction, such as classroom discussions and reflection journals. The platform contains structure and systematic weekly learning paths that facilitate student learning with the support of expert educators and support services. However, this is balanced with the flexibility to reflect on the learning and make meaningful contributions to a discussion. SACAP believes that learning is a social activity, and our programs encourage students to grow into the learning community through its interactive content. I'm going to go a little bit into your online learning experience now. Firstly, I would like to discuss Fieldwork. Now, Fieldwork is something that makes SACAP very, very different. It offers students the opportunity to apply their knowledge and practice their skills that they've acquired throughout their studies. Students are supported throughout their fieldwork through supervision. SACAP has established over 100 placement sites throughout South Africa, ranging from schools, community-based projects, recovery centres, family organisations, just to name a few. This practical aspect is really a big asset on your CV when you finish your studies. Often, students are really stuck when they finish their studies and have no practical experience. But with this practical experience, you then have the opportunity to apply to jobs saying that you have some experience in the field and have worked as a counsellor or support worker. Just to dabble a little bit into your assessments. Students are assessed through formal assessments as well as their contributions to the forum discussions and journal entries. I will take you a little bit later into the MySACAP interface and show you these different assessments. The assessments assess your understanding and ability to apply your knowledge and skills to the real life situations. We understand that studying online can be intimidating, so SACAP provides students with a dedicated support team to assist at every step of the way. You will have a module facilitator, an online coordinator, as well as other student support services to help you throughout your studies. We provide students with learning resources to assist you in your learning. This includes comprehensive module material and access to many academic journals such as JSTOR and EBSCOhost. Students will, however, need to purchase a textbook, and this can be done through any online academic bookshops such as Van Skyke or Kalahari.com. To study online, there's a few things that you will need. You will need access to the internet. We estimate that roughly it takes about 1 gig of internet for a 12-week module. Students will need to know how to work Word, as well as access PDFs and video content. Now I'm going to take you through the MySACAP Learning Portal just to give you a little bit of an idea of what you'll be getting into. So as you can see here, this is the MySACAP homepage. All students will get their unique login password that will give them access to all the learning materials. Welcome to MySACAP. I'm going to take you through one of the courses. Let's go into Introduction to Psychology A. Every week, your educator will open up the weekly content for you to go through. You'll have a basic information of all the module outlines and a welcome video that will just take you through the basics of the course. If we enter the first week's content, you will see that we have a video for you to watch, description of the week, some study notes for you to go through, as well as readings and resources that you can go through at your own pace. Now, this is where the interaction comes in. On a weekly basis, you will be required to partake in the discussion forum. Now, this is really to facilitate your online learning as a class. Every week, your educator, as you can see here, will post something for the class to discuss. You can then add to the topic and discuss it, as well as comment on your peers' thoughts of the topic. There is also a reflection journal, which is really between your educator and yourself, where you will apply the knowledge that you've learned and apply it to your own learning in your own life and show the growth that you have gathered on a week-by-week basis. As I mentioned previously, these activities form part of your assessment. And that concludes the demonstration of MySACAP. I'm now going to hand over to Leon Okam, who is our Recruitment Manager, who will take you through the remainder of the process.
Thank you, Karina, and also thank you to Dr. Smith. My name is Leon, I'm the Recruitment Manager, and I am responsible, my role is to tell you about the different qualifications that we do offer online, as well as take you through the process on how to become a student. Now, the 3 qualifications that we do have available at the moment is a higher certificate in counseling and communication skills, We have a diploma in counseling and communication, and then our undergrad degree is a Bachelor of Applied Social Science, or the BAPSOC degree. All three of these qualifications have different entry requirements, and they have different levels, or NQF levels. Now, a NQF is the National Qualifications Framework in South Africa. So if you exit Matric or grade 12 in South Africa, you will exit with a NQF 4. The next level in higher education is NQF 5, and that's usually on higher certificate level. Diplomas would be on NQF 6, and any undergrad degree in South Africa will be on an NQF 7. We also have the opportunity to study part-time and full-time online with SACAP, all three qualifications. And the only difference is a full-time student will have 3 to 4 modules per term, and a part-time student will have 1 module less per term. In other words, 2 to 3. Now, the fee structure, I just want to get to that before everybody fogs up and you can concentrate. The fee structure will be sent to everybody. Whether you're part-time or full-time, it depends on how many modules you complete for the year, and we will mail that through to you after this session. The higher certificate is a 1-year qualification. The diploma can be completed over 2 years, and the degree can be completed over 3 years if you're a full-time student. Part-time just means you slow it down a little bit more, and you can complete your higher certificate in 1 year and 2 terms, your diploma over 3 years, and your degree can be stretched over 5 years. Now, all these qualifications are grounded in counseling psychology. If we look at the different qualifications, they all have very specific advantages to them, and I would like to start with the higher certificate. Now, the higher certificate sometimes are used by younger students because they just want to see for the next year if this really is the interest and if psychology really offers what they thought it might offer. So some students see it as a gap here, but the advantage is you exit with a qualification in higher education. So you will exit with the NQF 5. And then students can make the decision if they want to further their studies. The higher certificate can also be used as a springboard into higher education. Because it's an NQF 5, you can jump either into an NQF 6 or to a similar field, which means you can go into the second year of an undergraduate degree in the same field. The diploma is a 2-year qualification at least. The advantage there is it also includes 200 hours field work. Now, with this field work, you will develop the skills, the knowledge, and the confidence to be able to counsel. So you will exit as a crisis intervention counselor, where you can do short-term intervention counseling, and you can actually be employed as a counselor. The undergraduate degree, or the Bachelor of Applied Social Science, I mean, this is a degree, and it's very difficult to compare this with any of the other qualifications because it is simply on a higher level, and your scope of practice will be bigger and larger because of that. It also includes 200 hours of field work. Sometimes students choose to do the diploma first and then merge into the degree. Now, there is one big advantage to that. If you choose to do that, there's 200 hours of field work in the diploma and also another 200 hours in your degree, which means by the time you exit your degree, you have 400 hours of field work. Now, this practical field work is crucial if you one day want to go into your honors and your masters. A small disadvantage is that it will take 1 term longer, and that's because of the field work that's extra in your diploma. On this page, you can see a diagram with the online qualifications in the black or in the red circle. On top of the diagram, you can see the different NQF levels, and it ranges from NQF 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And at the bottom of the diagram, you can see the different council identities. Now, we've discussed the NQF levels, so every qualification that you exit will have a certain NQF level. And on this diagram, you can see the higher certificate on the top left, you exit on NQF 5. The diploma, which is just below that, you will exit on NQF 6, and the undergraduate degree, the BAPSOC, you will exit on NQF 7. Now, what that means for your council identity, if you exit with a higher certificate, after completion, you will be able to be a support worker. That means that you are unable to really counsel one-on-one because you simply won't have the skills yet, but you will be able to be a support worker for a counselor. If you exit your studies on a diploma level, you will see at the bottom it says SACAP Counselor Level 1. Now that basically means that you will have the skills to be able to counsel one-on-one. You can be employed as a counselor, and you will have the ability to be able to be a crisis intervention counselor. Now, to exit on a level 2 counselor is with your undergraduate degree, the BAPSOC-SCI. It's very similar to the diploma, except that you've studied for a year longer, so your scope of practice is just bigger, and obviously it will be easier to be employed with a degree behind you. Also important to note that you can, with all the qualifications, your study path is towards honors and towards master's degrees. So if you would like to become a psychologist one day, you need to start with any qualification that will lead to an undergrad degree, and from there go into honors and then into masters, where you can register as a psychologist. I would like to discuss the very easy application process that we have at SACAP. First of all we need from a student is complete your application form, which I will send to you today. Send us your highest qualification, a certified copy of your ID, and give us 250 Rand, and then stop. Once we received all of this, we will process it within 2 days maximum, get back to you with an acceptance letter if you've been accepted into a qualification. From there on, you can complete your registration form, which I will send to you as well. You can send us a character reference letter and pay a registration fee and sign a debit order form. And then your registration is complete. Just please note that international students, any qualifications outside South Africa, whether it was online or face-to-face, needs to be verified by the South African Authority, South African Qualifications Authority, or SACAP. And they will change that qualification into an NQF level so that we know where you will fit in onto the spectrum of qualifications. One of our online students at the moment is Ali Flanagan, and she sent us a testimonial which I would just like to read through to you quickly. Online studies makes it possible for me to follow a lifelong dream and continue with a demanding job. I find myself reading and researching more than what I would when I attend classes. The online studies has enabled me to focus on self-awareness, resulting in personal growth. I am confident that I have made the right decision to join SACAP. On that note, I would like us to open the floor to certain questions and answers. If you have any questions, you can just type in the question at the bottom and we will receive it immediately. Karina and I will try and answer these questions as soon as possible. If we don't get to some of the questions, we will email these answers to you as well. I think just to open the floor, there's a question from Tina. Tina, you certainly can, after your studies at Lifeline, we have several students from Lifeline who would like to enter the highest certificate or the diploma. We still need to look at your highest qualification. So if you just give us a portfolio of everything that you've completed, including your studies at Lifeline. Lifeline certainly opens the door to psychology, and it will be easier to get into a qualification or a degree. Yeah, you just need to send your application, please. Charlene, if you would like to study psychology, you really can start anywhere your highest qualification allows you to go into. So if you have a matric that's strong enough, you can start with a degree immediately. You do not have to start at the higher certificate. A higher certificate, because it's an NQF 5, is easier to get access, and you just need a matric. And a degree, you need a bachelor's pass to start immediately. Very good question from Tina, and I'll get to Gente now. Tina, you can start studies on the 1st of June. Applications are now open for that. We have several intakes, and our second intake for new students is now in June. Applications will close 15 May.
Just to Gente, how do test exams work when studying online? So just with regards to your exams, there are only exams in the BAPSOC-SCI qualification, and they are towards the end of your second year and your third year. Now, if you are in the vicinity of one of our campuses, you'll be required to come onto campus to write your exams. However, if you're in a different province or maybe an international student, we'll make the exams available for you online.
See, because just to touch base with that question of yours, you can certainly send your transcripts of what you've completed at SATS so we can have a look. We can give you credits for modules similar to the modules that we offer in our qualifications, but we need to see your transcripts and take it from there. And then there's a question from Vaughan. If you start with a higher certificate, the higher certificate is exactly the same as the first year of the degree and also the first year of the diploma. So from higher certificate to degree, the duration of the qualification will be exactly the same. It's not going to take you longer. If you do the diploma and then the degree, it's going to take you 1 term longer. The difference between part-time and full-time online from Charlene. Online full-time status, you will have 3 to 4 modules, and part-time you will have 2 to 3. So it's just 1 module difference. Also worth mentioning that you can change part-time to full-time from term to term. Sometimes students start part-time and they feel this is actually a walk in the park, I can do this. And then next term they decide to be a full-time student, which is completely fine. Another question students sometimes ask is textbooks. What do I do about textbooks? Now you need 1 textbook per module. Some of the modules will need, or some of the modules share a textbook, sorry. But you definitely need to have your textbooks ready before you start. We will send you a list of textbooks as well and where you can find them. Sipukazi, full-time students, if you're an online student, you never attend classes, but you can be full-time and part-time as an online student. It's just the number of modules that are different.
Tina, with regards to having access, you will always have access to my SACAP, and that is the platform where all your study materials are on. Our support staff are available Monday to Friday, normal working hours, and your educators will also facilitate you through the process, and normally they can be slightly more flexible and they will answer your questions. Sometimes they answer your questions during weekends and sometimes during working hours as well. It is important to keep in mind that all our module facilitators or our educators are actually working in the field. So often they have normal consulting hours with their clients from 9 to 5, and they do the online, assisting online students normally after hours. I hope that answers your question.
All right, thank you everybody. Thanks for your time and we hope to see you. Oh, sorry, there's another question. 1 second.
Charlene, you will need to have access to a computer. That is very important, and you'll need access to the internet. You don't need to sit at your computer at the same time every day. Online studies are flexible. So as I explained earlier, you will have your materials given to you at the beginning of the week, and you have the week to work through those materials. At any time during that week, be it after hours or during the normal work day, you can then partake in any of those activities, and then as long as they finish by the due date, which is normally the next Monday. Vaughan, with regards to how many hours are required, we normally say that for 1 module, you will give 1 hour a day. That's the estimate. So if you're a part-time student, you're then giving out 2 hours a day. If you're a full-time student, it's between 3 or 4 hours a day. Are there any other questions?
All right, thank you very much. We will make contact with everybody that's in the class today and send you some more details, including the application forms and fee structures.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.